Okay, this tutorial here is going to show you how to work with text and other overlays in Final Cut. So this is LiveType. I've created something very general. So this is one example. If you're familiar with LiveType, you can use this. So I've got a piece of text that is going to go into a film that I've created. So I'm going to switch back over to Final Cut. Now I've already imported it, so remember you got to go to File, Import, Files, find it. And I've also created a bin so that I can organize all my LiveType tracks separately from everything else. So I double click and it will open in my viewer here. So there's a couple ways to include this in your film. The way that I like to do it is by dragging it down onto the timeline above the clip that I want to put it in. So there's two ways to do that. One is by just simply dragging it down, drop it there. It's going to need a quick little render here. I'll turn the volume off so that we don't need to listen to the audio tracks. And this is what we get. We get that appearing right in the middle of the screen. Now, just say, for example, I wanted to move this around a little bit. What you can do is double click on it. You can see we get the double row of dots to show that we're working on something that's on the timeline. And there's a little menu up here that we can get some different views from. So what I'm going to do is switch this to Image plus Wireframe. So we see the picture and then we get this little wireframe around it. And if I move the playhead back, I can see where this is going to go. And maybe what I'll do is drag this down to about here, and then I can render it, and then we'll see what that looks like now. So if I go back, it'll show up lower on the screen, just as I intended it. It's usually a good idea to switch that back to image when you're done playing around with this. Now alternatively, I'm going to delete that. What we can do is we can also insert piece of text over a black background. This means basically having nothing under it. So if the text item has a transparent background, then putting nothing under it will cause it to have a black background. So I've moved the playhead to the beginning and I want to push everything over, so I'm going to do this as an insert. So it's just going to push everything over, do a render. It'll take less time because it's not mashing two pieces of footage together. And then I press play, it'll show my piece of text and then start into the actual film itself. Now to create text in Final Cut, it's not the prettiest. That's why LiveType is an excellent program if you've got Final Cut Express or Pro. What we can use is there's this little video generator tab. Alternatively, you can get to this in the effects. There's a video generator section here, but this is usually a convenient place to get it. This is a bunch of different types of video clips. So like if you wanted a solid colored background, which is what we're going to try and do in just a minute, you can include that. But first I'm going to start off with a piece of text. A crawl goes across the bottom, lower third shows up sort of near the bottom. I'm just going to do a basic text though. A typewriter is usually awful though for film. So click on text. I get the word sample text here, and now what I can do is I can go to the controls up top. I can click on this and I'm going to type in 1900s fashion parade outside the Regal Historic Cinema. Now I've put a huge amount of text here just to show you a problem that you will likely encounter. So go back to video and you'll see that it all shows up centered on one line, which might not be what you want. So go back into controls and you'll need to determine a few places to hit return so that you can split this up on multiple lines. So there. Okay. And you can see that the first line is in the middle and then it goes towards the bottom. Now There are some ways that we can fix this, but I'm going to insert my video so that I can also see what I'm doing as I'm creating it. So I'm going to, again, put this in as an insert, so it'll push everything over. You'll see that it's a 10-second clip, and I'm going to show you how to fix that in just a minute. So we're going to go to Controls, and I'll go in the middle so I can see it. Now, there are a few things that you can do. Just make sure I'm editing off the timeline. A few things you can do with this, changing the font size, the actual font that you're using. Let's find something pretty basic, Arial black, and you can change the style. Alignment, I'm going to have this, usually you have your titles center aligned, but I'm going to align these to the left. I'm going to change the font color to a nice pink. And the origin here is kind of important. By clicking on here, you can select, see this little crosshair turned red, where your text actually begins from. So you don't always have to use the wireframe to move your text. You can just sort of change the origin point of the text. So there are a few other options in here, but this is about how I'm going to leave this. So I'll go back to video. So this is my piece of text. Now, I mentioned before that I'll try putting a colored background on this using the video generator. So I'm going to move my text up one layer because I know I want to put something under it. Go to the video generator. I'm going to pick matte, and I will pick a solid color. Now, blue will not be good here, so I want to find something that's dark but will work well with the pink that I've got. So I'll pick a dark forest green, go back to video, and you can see they all default to 10 seconds as their length. So I'm going to put this on my timeline, and wow, does that look bad. But this is a good example of how you do this. Now, a couple different ways to change the duration of these. If you want them to match, say I already know that I want this to be 2 seconds and 4 frames. Let's go 3 seconds, 4 frames. So that would be 3.04, 3 seconds, 4 frames. And then with the solid color here, what I might want to do, because I want everything to move backwards and line up with it, I'm going to use the razor blade here to make a cut. Then I'm going to use the pointer, click on the part that I don't want, hold shift on the keyboard, and then hit delete, and it's going to put everything together here. So I get this awesome beginning, and then it'll go into the actual clip. So that should give you an idea about using text and other sort of things from the video generator menu, and how to get stuff from LiveType in there so that you can start working with text in some different ways.